We are having largest human population and largest elephant population.
That was used for logging hundreds of years ago. Still use them.
Is it used or misused?
Very valid
That's
point.
very
Very valid.
They show empathy, they show compassion, in their own ways.
Matriarch doesn't need to be the senior most.
Social media elephant.
See, coexistence does not mean that, hey, bye kind of thing.
What are the 4 or 5 basic signs of an irritated elephant?
If you see, the human brain and elephant brain evolved in a similar way.
Peak Musth is still tolerating people.
But taming itself, you're basically breaking the spirit of an elephant.
So is it that they're looking for a new habitats or they are pushed?
Our knowledge on elephants are quite limited, I think. There's so much to know about them.
How close you have been to elephants?
So for some people, seeing an elephant itself is a conflict.
One time rogue elephant, does it mean that he's going to be rogue for the life?
Our guest today has spent decades observing and studying interactions between people and elephants in South India. Their innovative and award-winning early warning systems have saved countless lives, and their people skills have helped sway opinions from hating elephants to loving them. They are Dr. Anand, Kumar and Ganesh Raghunathan. Hey, over 90% of you watching aren't subscribed yet. Subscribe to Some Like It Wild because we have a whole bunch of wild guests lined up for you. And hit the bell icon to never miss any updates.
Thank you, Anand and Ganesh, for accepting our request to come for this podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Let me start. So, there are a couple of species I have been fascinated, and one of them is elephants. Elephant is such a charismatic animal. And every time I'm in the forest, either for a shoot or just to enjoy the forest, this is one animal I can, even if there is a tiger somewhere, I will leave it and I'll just be there with the elephants. And I think this whole fascination for elephants started off way back when I read this book, Elephant Whisperer. I think, Ganesh, you can add on that.
Yeah, that's a very lovely book. In fact, one of the first books that I really enjoyed reading as soon as I joined Valparai. I found it lying on Anand's table. I'm like, what is this curious thing? And let me check it out. But what a fabulous book that is. And the entire book, the way the things flow, every step is very fascinating. If you see the way they all try to break away, they want to go back to the place that they identify as home. And that is something that you see even these days here in India when you capture an elephant, translocate it. The animal is making all efforts to get back to what it recognizes as home. But yeah, that book is fabulous. It's got so many different behavioral observations, especially various things like, where he recognizes at a much later instance about when they had to put down a bull, and later they found the tusk had an infection and that was making the elephant irritable. These are things that are happening very much around us, even in India and things. But how much information do we have? How much do we know what the animals are actually going through is something in the book. It really brings it out saying, oh, shucks, we missed this.
So it is very important to have these kind of books, because these kind of books will make you fall in love. Yeah. So Anand, you did MA in psychology and then you decided to, you worked on primates for some time.
Yeah, I worked for nearly 8 years.
8 years? Oh, wow.
So
and how did elephants happen then?
That's the thing. So when I was, I did my primate studies in Professor Meva Singh's project. Then later, thanks to my colleagues, Divan Shankar and Madhu.
Okay.
So we were all working together in Animalize.
Okay.
So Divan Shankar received a request from plantation companies in Animalize that we are facing a little bit of trouble with elephants. Why don't you people help us?
Oh, okay.
So we got together, we had a discussion. We thought that we should actually start studying elephants. So that's how the elephant work started.
So how did it help your MA in psychology? Did it help in understanding the elephant behavior?
Yeah. See, psychology, so from the beginning itself, I have been very much interested in animal behavior. See, for social living organisms like elephants or monkeys and stuff, if you want to save them, you really need to understand them. If you have to understand them, we really need to know their behavior, their language. Yeah. So that's very, very critical. So behavioral part is extremely important. I think it's the most fundamental thing when you are actually looking at social living organisms. So always, whether it is monkey's behavior or elephant behavior, it always fascinated me a lot, because there are individual personalities that you will actually see among these groups.
Can you tell us with some examples? That will be really great.
See, when I started my PhD work, and one of the things what I thought was that Unless we identify individuals, we will not be able to understand elephants. After recognizing individuals based on cuts and shapes and pigmentation and any physical markings and stuff and behavior part, we have identified three main herds. So one of them is steppier herd. The steppier herd was actually most often led by a female called Sangeeta. So it's not that Sangeeta will always be in the forefront of the herd, but whenever the herd tries to cross the road, she used to be the first person to come on the road and inspect the road, make sure that no vehicles will come. She gives a signal to the rest of the members of the herd, and other members cross the road. So she used to take up that role. Okay, this is very, very fascinating for me, because when I looked at that, it's when you identify individuals, you see a different world. Why Sangeeta is behaving like this? Why Shabnam, will always be shy? Why Shahjahan is actually behaving very differently? So that's why it's just like us in society, because each one of us has a different kinds of personalities.
Yes.
Some of them are very temperamental in elephants. Some of them are very shy. Some of them are very bold. Some of them are very friendly. So
How close you have been to elephants?
on foot, one of the instances that when I was studying monkeys, we actually, with Professor Meva Singh, so we used to count new births in lantern macaques.
Okay.
And we had a student called Chris Nogi from Germany. The 36 hairpin bend road, which passes through dense rainforest area. So we were looking at new births, and Professor Meva Singh heard something. So it's a winding road like this. So one of my colleagues, Sharma, Anantakrishna Sharma, so he went ahead and he saw elephants. They were all in single pile. He came back and told us that, hey, there are elephants. So, okay, we waited for them to go back and they waited for us to go back. But Chris Nogi was so tempted, because I had never seen elephant in the wild, particularly Asian elephants. He had a huge camera. Okay. He said, hey, I want to see elephants. So, okay, we decided that we'll follow them. But when Chris Nogi and Kumar, another fellow, was in front, me and Meva Singh was in the middle. And this guy started taking picture. So when it is little dark, this camera, automatically it opens the flash.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
There's one animal coming from the valley towards the road in between us. Okay. And we wanted to inform Chris Nogi and Kumara that there is an elephant behind them that's coming up. And when we showed the gesture, we can't talk. So Kumara and Chris Nogi thought that from this angle they can get a good picture of elephant, because there are elephants in front. Then when this fellow clicked, and that female charged at us, and it was about to hit. Meva Singh was much little older than us, so the female was about to hit Meva Singh. Last minute, Meva told us to jump, so we all jumped.
As in down the
into a
into
valley.
So
the
that's
valley.
so that was a very closest encounter. The second encounter was that when I was doing my behavioral observations, we have a field assistant called Murthy. So I told Murthy that I'm observing. I have to observe an elephant for 5 minutes continuously for recording their behaviors. And I told him that when I'm concentrating on one individual, you should
keep an eye out on
on other individuals. He got bored and slept, which I had no clue. Okay. Then I felt, after some time, there's something, somebody's watching me. I just turned on my left.
And it was not
I saw
Murthy.
a subadult male standing very close, 20 feet away, which is, 5 feet for an elephant. So I didn't know whether I should get up or walk, run, scream, So when I looked at this side, this fellow was snoring. So then I think that elephant must have fed up with who is this useless fellow, jobless fellow, watching us, and he went back. So that day I decided that these are my last minutes. So that's how.
You said that the first incidents that the elephants were in a single line. Does it say anything when they're in a single line?
So it's basically that they tend to be in one pile because it's a caution.
Okay.
They are cautious.
Oh,
about
okay.
that. It's not that they want to charge.
There is structure
So-
when they stand that way.
Yeah.
Mm.
There is age.
So you remember when we
There
were
are-
shooting almost a year ago, we were in a tea state and I was holding their path. And then I think you called up or Kalyan called up saying that you move from that area, otherwise they won't cross. So I moved with the camera, and then in a single
File, yeah.
file,
Yeah,
they
started
all
walking
actually
down.
crossed.
Yeah, they are very disciplined. We are the ones who cause chaos wherever we go. They have a system. They know
I
how
didn't
to
know.
walk. Yeah, they are very sensitive. They know. They're giving us the opportunity to get out of their way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How much more can we expect out of an elephant?
As I said, that Sangeeta,
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
inspect. So
Mm.
there are certain individuals will take certain roles in the herd. It's not that the senior most.
Not the matriarch.
Yeah. So matriarch
So
is
does
a very.
sorry, but
Yeah.
just wanted to ask that matriarch, does it need to be the senior most or
See,
the eldest?
In a strict sense, that matriarchal society, matriarch is there in African elephants much more clearly
Okay.
as compared to Asian elephants.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Mm.
Okay.
So, it's not necessarily the senior most. Senior most individual will play an important role in the
Yes.
herd, but it's not that strict.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
matriarch thing is not that strict in Asian elephants.
Oh, okay. Ganesh, what about your experiences?
What? Getting close to elephants?
Mhm.
Ideally-
Chased by
Ideally, it's not
elephants.
something that anybody should get into. But
Okay,
sometimes there
obviously.
are situations which puts us in some spots like that. But I'd rather tell a story that has actually positively influenced somebody's life. This male, he's left the herd. He's somebody who our team has watched since 2002. I've been seeing him since 2011. This was around 2017. This guy has left the herd. He's gone solo by himself and meeting up with different herds and other males and. And I get a call. I think it was August. Yeah, heavy rain. Valparai rains are massive at that point. And this guy called, he's with the man has come, and myself. We walk up. He says something is wrong. The elephant is behaving very strange. It seems very irritated, but we're staying good distance. But he seems to be charging and things.
Mm.
Come take a look. So I go there. He's walking. We are walking on a wet tea estate road. You can imagine what it must be like with
Mm.
heavy vehicles going on either sides. The soil has gone down. There's wet
Mm.
grass and moss and things like that as well. It starts to rain again. The elephant is walking. Clearly, you can tell this guy is not happy. We don't know why. So the track goes this way. It has a fork. The elephant can choose to go left or come to the right. So we are on this side and we're watching. Just as he turns to catch our presence, our guy decides to open up the umbrella. And that guy lost it.
Mm.
He starts picking up pace. Moment we notice, I'm like, let's go back. Looks like we waited till he got to the junction. When he took the right, like, let's get out of his way.
Mm.
And he did charge a little bit at that point. So we ran, and unfortunately, I don't know why I tend to like to wear slippers into the field. That's a different story. But yeah, it helps me in different ways. But so problem with slipper, it pops off. I'm sitting there and I'm trying to fix it.
While the elephant is chasing.
He's still walking. We've run. So I'm like, okay, we have some more time. And so holding the umbrella, and he's also sitting by my side. I lift my head up. I'm seeing the dome of his head up here. He saw us and he picked up. So now I am running. By the time I said run and I took off. To process it, took him another 5 seconds, and then he started running. Now he's got the umbrella fully opened up and he's still running. And I am running and then I hear the sound of somebody falling. I turn back, falling. He's sliding on his chest. He's wearing a motorcycle helmet to prevent his head from the rain. And I'm like turning back and I can see like how Anand described. It's a boulder. When an elephant is charging at you, you can't sit there and make observe what the ear looks like. It is a mass of rock with dust flying. To see an elephant at distance and to see it as it approaches you closer, it's a very different experience. And then and he's like still holding. I'm like, leave that damn umbrella and run. He leaves it and runs. Just as he gets across, the umbrella is between him and the elephant redirects its aggression towards the umbrella. That night, I also wake up in the middle of my sleep with trauma. But by 11:30, wife calls. Are you guys hallucinating? Is he telling the truth? And I was like, no, it is true. The elephant chased.
But Ganesh, you had a very interesting start of your career. If I'm not wrong, you used to do some concert photography.
Yeah, that was the only option I had. I did like wildlife. I couldn't afford going to the forest.
Okay.
But I also loved photography and filming. So the only opportunities to go to the forest would be census that the government conducts. And that was a fabulous experience. To experience the forest, learn to walk in the forest, get your bites, get your stings, learn from it, make your mistakes. I did a few years in the city with photography and things. And then
You were working with Kalyan.
later I started to work with Kalyan. So Kalyan and I were doing workshops in the city, doing tours and things. Then I got connected with VGKK in BR Hills. So there I lived for a year with the Soligas. And it was wonderful. Walked the forest with them, saw the forest through their eyes, the way they interpreted things,
And that's amazing.
fabulous stories that they would tell. And,
Why don't you tell us one of the stories?
okay. So there's a fire, dry season, and there's a drongo shooting through the smoke that is rising. And, sir, nodi sir, ಹಕ್ಕಿ ಹೊಗೆ ಕುಡಿತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಹೊಗೆ ಕುಡುಕ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ they said. So it translates to look at that bird, it's shooting through the smoke, it loves to drink the smoke, that's why we call it the smoke drinker. It's their interpretation, but the fire is
It's
flushing out the
amazing.
insects and drongos are making the best out of it.
Correct,
I've seen it so many
Yeah,
times.
Amazing. So they have numerous
Sounds
such
like an anime
stories.
character.
Every,
Anime character.
every local community you go and the kind of stories what they have with their observations around them, what they're seeing around them and the kind of story narration they do is mind-blowing. There is no dispute about it.
The interpretation is amazing. Yeah.
So Anand, how elephants are doing in India now?
See, Asian elephants are doing very well in India. So there are only, it's very stable. So there are two countries which are really good, are doing well, is India and Sri Lanka. Yeah, so they're doing really well in these two countries. So, I mean, touch wood, thanks to the efforts and also, see, it's a kind of, you have that, whether it is a cultural relationship that people do have, despite so much of conflict that exists between people and elephants, still elephants are doing well in this country.
Do you think that the conflict has gone up in last
See, it's a very
couple of
perception.
decades?
No, so conflict is a very perceiving thing. For example, that so for some people, seeing an elephant itself is a conflict. For others, it is damaging something, or, causing injury or leading to death of a person would be a conflict thing. Okay, so it's a more of a perception thing, how you view it. There has been reports. Okay, earlier this much of publicity or communication
correct.
Was
that
not
wouldn't
there.
have been there. So if you see that way, that conflicts are increasing over the years, but may have been there. So that time, so
There were no
reporting was
records.
reporting
They
was
were not
very less.
documented.
So I think all of us agree that elephants are immensely intelligent, and I think that the way they interact with their families and all this betrays all immense intelligence, empathy, very similar to humans. So can you give us some insight into what the family structure is like in elephant herd?
Yeah. So it's like a extended family. So like how Anand said, it's a place where multiple elephants exist, multiple personalities exist. There is age difference, there is genetic relatedness, and a core functioning as a herd itself. So it could be for security or every other thing. And when it comes to safety, they are extremely cautious in protecting their young. They have very specific formations that they get into. The adults come forward, the sub-adults are there, the calves are put in between. That is one structure. Or the other way, when they're on the move, you'll always find a very old elephant tailing the herd. Very often people think the old ones are going to lead from the front, but often you'll see some of the old ones lagging behind. In fact, there's a bit of a gap between what you call as center of the herd and one trailing. So all these things have a reason why they function this way. And they're amazing that way. They show empathy, they show compassion in their own ways. For example, once I was seeing this elephant, she didn't grow very tall. She's finding it really hard to bring down a jackfruit. So this other elephant walks up, brings it, opens it up and gives it. So you can see them helping one another out. Recently, there was a video where there was an elephant stuck in a railway barricade and another elephant comes in. Not just that, just to free the other elephant out. So they're complex problem solvers. They seem to learn every new time they're
And
experiencing
teach also, no?
something. Sorry?
And teach also.
Of course, they communicate
Mm.
amongst themselves. They learn from one another. And it's different things you get to see. Once at around 2:30, we're sitting on a small school. It's a single floor building. So we're sitting on the roof. We see a herd of elephants come. They're no longer breaking walls. They're not breaking windows. One knocks the door falls off. Calf goes in, comes out nicely with a bag of rice and hands it over to the rest of them. They're learning. They realize that they don't have to go along collectively breaking things. It can be accessed this way also. So and I've seen them opening gates. And they are very strange in that way. In places that we expect them to do certain things, they end up doing something entirely
Right,
different.
right.
Sometime around 2011-12, I had just moved into the new field station that we have, and this elephant comes, not just the gate. I'm sitting and watching. The whole wall walks past my window. He goes up, puts 2 legs on the jackfruit tree, brings one down, stands there feeding for a good 15-20 minutes. And then I saw him just leaning against the tree and sleeping for a while.
Leaning on the tree and sleeping.
Yeah, he was just leaning against it and he dozed off for some time, I think. So you see such things also. It's amazing to see elephants fighting their sleep.
Fighting the sleep. Okay.
So there'll be 2-3 of them standing. Body contact will always be there. One will be dozing slowly. And then the other one will be like, I can't stand and sleep. It just goes flat. I don't know. It makes me feel calm in those situations. It's amazing to see an elephant sleep. Sometimes when they're sleeping in the tea bushes, you can only see their belly keep going up and down. It's fun.
So what are the... yeah, go ahead.
Basically that basic unit of the family is mother and calf. And mothers or sisters are strongly related to individuals, which their calves becomes herd. But they have very fluid society.
Okay.
It's not that they are not strictly this herd members will not go and mingle with other herd members kind of thing. It's a very fluid society, fusion society. That's what we call. Elephants, some few individuals break up and go and join another herd, and some individuals come in, kind of thing. But more or less that there are central animals and there are peripheral animals that we actually see in a herd, and they have different roles to play. So actual scientists have actually looked at the social structure. There are different layers.
Okay.
So within the herd. So depending on the positions and dominances about their relationships, they have different tiers.
Okay.
So that's what you see. And usually the males will always be hanging around with the herd. But when they attain 12 years or 13 years, they will start moving away. It's not that
They start moving away or they are pushed?
Male.
No.
It moves away.
On their own they move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on their own. It's not that they are pushed out of the herd.
Okay.
So because their body requirements are heavy, higher than the female, then the ranges are very different. Okay, male ranges. It's not that one day a male decides that, okay, I'm fed up with the herd and I will walk away kind of thing. It's not that way. But if you start seeing from the juvenile stage onwards, you will start seeing that the distance, as they grow, the distance between the herd and the male will start increasing. Okay.
So they hang back.
That's the reason why you actually see that if there is a subadult male with the herd, once the entire herd crosses, later the subadult male will come.
Okay.
At last. So many people think that, okay, elephants have already gone. Let me go. So that's where they get into
trouble.
Trouble.
Can you tell us something about the home ranges of herds and then the males also?
Yeah. So home ranges vary from between herds and males. See, in South India, as per the studies, that a herd would need around 350 to 400 square kilometers. But if you go to Chhattisgarh, it's about 2,000 square kilometers.
2,000.
Wow.
So it's a huge, large home ranges that you will actually see it. Males, a male need from South Indian studies, it's about 700 square kilometers. The Ananda Tiger Reserve is 980 square kilometers, which means that it can hold only one male. Is it true? Or 1.5 male kind of thing. Is not true. So that's the reason why that you actually see more males coming into human use areas. And
so
also
when you say a home range, it doesn't mean that another male can't be there in that.
No, it's a very fluid thing.
It's very fluid thing.
It's a very fluid thing. It's not like tigers.
Yeah, I was about to say
They're very
that.
social that way, no? So
Yeah,
they
they're
don't
very
hold on to
social
it
in that
and-
way. Yeah.
They don't have strict territoriality.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's you don't see that.
In fact, it's great to see different herds interacting. The way they greet each other,
Yeah.
this familiarity.
Tell us
the
something
young
about that. How I've never seen that happen. I've only seen.
So once we were looking at this, we monitor multiple herds there. One of the herds we monitor has been there for a few days now. But for surprising to us, there was another herd which we've been seeing, but they also landed up there. And my God, it's quite a sight. The energy was different. There's excitement. There's vocalizing that is going on. There's rumbling that is going on. Imagine all this you're getting to witness and hear when it's absolutely quiet. And, the way they make contact with each other. There's the trunk that goes and touches the mouth. There's one putting its trunk over the nape of the neck, other elephants. Then there's one nudge over there, things like that. But there's another thing we get to see. We also get to see hierarchies. It's not like they're all social and always friendly.
Yeah.
There are boundaries that you don't cross with elephants as well, even if you're an elephant. Yeah. So some things like that also you get to see. There'll be a kick that comes up.
But they are amazing communicators. So going back to the book that
Mm.
Lawrence Anthony, The Elephant Whisperer, I remember he writing about it, that those elephants which were in his conservancy in Thula Thula, the elephants always knew when if he was traveling and when he's coming back, elephants knew when he was coming back, and they will all meet him at the gate to greet him. How?
What I also read is that if you see the human brain and elephant brain evolved in a similar way.
Oh, okay.
And except that in elephants, that neurons are widely spread.
Mm.
Um, in human brain, it is more concentrated.
Okay.
So that's the reason why that the difference is only they can't mimic, we can mimic.
Mhm.
So the thinking levels, everything is absolutely very similar to humans. One can actually draw parallels between human society and elephant society.
Wow.
So they live up to 70 years on average. We also live up to 70 years. They have a family, we have family, they have emotions, we have emotions. And it's just that they have their own way of communication thing. So they have their own mathematical calculations, which we don't have. So our formulas may not be applicable to their society, but their formulas we don't understand. Okay.
I was just going to come back to the smartness part of it. I think lots of times when you guys are on field, where you're trying to observe elephants or you try to navigate around them or you try to predict where they're going to go so that you can rendezvous with them, I think lots of times they outsmart you guys. Can you give us some examples of how this intelligence you have seen on field?
Before that, I have another point.
Yeah.
Like, your Tula Tula part of it.
Yeah.
Something similar that I noticed in Valparai is about shows how they're able to distinguish different things. Maybe they were able to sense Lawrence Anthony's vehicle at some point, and that made them react in a certain way. Similarly, I've sat alone with them. They're showing reactions to something which none of my senses have picked up. A good 4-5 minutes later is when the truck sound actually was audible to me. But they've recognized it much before. And these are the trucks that I used to chase them at night.
Oh, so
Do they
very
pick up the vibrations? Are they getting the infrasounds from the engine, of the diesel engine or whatever? I don't know. But if the animal is able to distinguish something or recognize something and they're preparing for it, is intelligence of another level. Or another case where I've seen them reacting to firecrackers. When the rocket is fired, the hissing sound, the elephant shuts its eyes tight. And then after the explosion, it opens up. It's like, I figured out your tricks here now.
So they can hear it launching, basically.
Yeah, when the comes, they're shutting up, and then after the explosion, they're easing up. So they're also learning over time with the different things that we are exposing them to. So yeah, maybe they're able to recognize.
See, when we were working in Satyamangalam region, and we heard that there are elephants already in banana plantation. So Ashwin, who was working with me, then Ashwin and me drove to the place. So on the way, that villagers were there, and they also came with us. They want to drive elephants. So one of them was carrying crackers. So I told them very strictly that don't burst a cracker before cracker reaches the elephant will reach us. That fellow didn't listen. Then he burst crackers. And before the rocket reaches there, elephant reached our gypsy. We all jumped into the gypsy. Okay. We didn't know what to do. It was night. So pitch dark everywhere. So, I mean, we can't, judge that elephant will behave in this particular way. If we know that there are 10 steps that elephant can behave, but they make the 11th step, which we have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
Our knowledge on elephants are quite limited, I think. There's so much to know about them. We know very little. There's a lot to be learned. We don't know what all new things they'll surprise us with.
And also, I think it changes from herd to herd also, no? And area to area, like you said.
Habitat, landscape, all these things will play a factor. Of course, how people behave also.
See, it's ultimately boils down to the individual. Some individuals are very tolerant. Some individuals are very temperamental, no? So
that could depend on what has happened to them also. Like when you talk about the tolerance levels are low for specific elephants, it could be what has happened to them,
Absolutely.
how people have chased with.
And also the kind of experience they go through it. When I was actually doing my all my time spent only during my PhD time. So thanks to that particular time period. So I was watching Stepper herd, and they were playing in the river, and I was at the top in Tonimuni Estate. They crossed the river, and everybody, all members of that particular herd, started trumpeting. They got very close to each other. There was very close body contacts. Tails were lifted up, twisted. So they were under stress. But I'm on the top and I didn't see anybody there. So what I noticed was that each time these elephants go to that particular region of the estate, they always chase. But on this side,
The elephants are chased.
elephants are chased. And this side, the company doesn't chase.
Okay.
Okay.
So they could actually differentiate the places where there is a threat, possible threat,
Mm.
and they becomes very tense.
Mm.
They become very tense. So they can actually differentiate places, perhaps people.
Maybe through experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what-
that's just
yeah.
observation, because a lot of time animal behaves very, very differently.
Mm.
So you
because
look
of the
at there's one
experiences.
animal. I don't know whether I should tell the name.
Mm.
Okay, there's one
Better
animal.
not to.
Individual.
There's an individual which is loved by people in Hassan.
Okay.
So when he comes into Musth, he walks through villages nearly every day, 20 kilometers or something like that. But you can actually see lots of people behind him taking pictures, and he tolerates them.
Even in Musth. Even in
In
Musth.
peak
Even
Musth.
Peak Musth. He's still tolerating people.
And we're talking about 40 people behind, 40 people ahead.
Wow.
Mm.
With loudspeaker announcement saying elephant is on its way, all of you go into your
That's a-
houses.
That's a saint.
Elephant crossing.
He swings his tail
Mm.
and flapping ears, and he's very calm.
Mm.
People love him, and I think he also loves people most likely. But he's so
He
calm.
loves the attention. Social media elephant. Mm.
He's so
Social media.
it's
That will be the end of him though.
Shit.
so no, he's quite amazing.
Mm.
Huge fellow.
Mm.
Okay. And quite fascinating for me.
Mm.
And he doesn't like surprise entries.
Okay.
So when you're trying to approach him,
Yeah.
you have to indicate.
Have to announce. Mm.
Cough,
Okay,
clap,
you
talk.
just have to cough.
He has to know that you're around.
Mm.
You have to tell him that, hey, I have come here.
Mm.
So I did 2-3 times cough and go close. It's fine. He's fine.
Mm.
Without telling him, if you go, then he will charge.
Mm.
He doesn't like at all. So, but the same thing is not true with other elements. Okay, so
Mm.
so that's where the individual personality
Very variable. Yeah. In male elephants, they go into Musth. We spoke about it, and you said how that particular elephant was very calm during. It was in Musth, and people are following it and all that. Can you just tell me what is the biology behind it? What happens during Musth time, and what happens to the elephant?
See, Musth is hormonal. Testosterone levels will go up and sexually active that time. So the animals come into Musth. Yeah. So that was the time that they can be irritated quite soon or quite quickly. So that's how the Musth is. But the duration of Musth varies from individual to individual. Also, it's something to do with the dominance and subordinate relationships of the individuals among the males thing. That's what we are seeing. So we are still analyzing the data.
What
but,
triggers that phase? Is it like a monthly or a annual or something like that?
Annually, see what we are seeing, whatever the limited study, what we are carrying out, the duration of Musth, it will be annually or sometimes twice a year.
Okay.
Okay.
For some individuals, it's twice a year.
And how long is that period once it sets in?
It also varies. So one individual, what I was telling that, he walks through villages and it lasts for 6 months.
6 months.
What?
I didn't know
6
that.
months?
Which we have been consistently seeing.
Okay.
But again, it varies from individual to individual. It varies across their age. Young fellows will be
Average
different
will
from
be
the
what?
guys who are in their prime.
Average will be
2-3
what?
months may
2-3 months.
for some
2-3 months.
the initial
long
first
period of
month is a
time.
gradual period where the Musth builds up, the
Sets
liquid
in,
is
forming.
filling up, and you have the secretion happening. That is the peak when it flows. It starts with a one finger
Yeah, which
length
you
and
can
then
see.
it goes all the way around its jaw. very pungent smelling. And in that period, we've noticed that they don't prioritize feeding on many occasions. You can see a drop in the body condition of the elephant,
Okay.
and they go find females.
Hmm.
In that herd, there may be one or two which are in estrus. Getting this scent is something that the male elephant can do. And there could be other males from other places, like how Anand was mentioning. And they both may end up at the same place. Then comes the dominant situation.
Yeah.
Is it sorted
gets
out
into
by
the
just a
action
look?
Right.
Sometimes you don't have to get into a serious duel. It is understood. And these are some things that we get to see. Once we were watching this herd, there's a young guy. He's still a part of that herd. He's not separated out. But you can clearly sense this guy is stressed. He's forcefully having to stay a good distance away from the core of the herd. There's a huge male in Musth and he's courting a female. He's taken her away, a little away from the core. And at one incident, this guy slowly, young fellow, he wants to stay close to his family. He's getting closer. At one point, the elephant just turns and looks at him and says, that is all it took. This young guy ran an entire T-mount without looking back. No stop. He is running. And I was getting it on video and the 7300. I'm at 300. Oh God, this guy is running down. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. I'm at 70. He's still running. I'm not able to go wider. He doesn't stop. So
it's very clear.
It's a
The messaging is very clear. Yeah.
it's very clear.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. So we talking about the intelligence of the elephant. So elephant must be recognizing you now, Ganesh.
I wish
say
they did. I
hi,
can't
elephant.
risk it. I really wish.
You have been seeing the same herd for years together.
14 years or so.
14 years. I'm sure they know you.
Yeah, I wish. But wait, there have been some instances where I felt it, but I can't state it as a fact. But yeah, some of the best experience I've had on field was with Sridhar. I learned a hell lot from him. And knowing how to approach elephants or how to not push it beyond a point. Because I don't come from an academic background. It's all field learning. So the years that I spent on field with him was fabulous because that is when I knew what is the boundaries and how to recognize, because elephants give you a lot of subtle signs.
So I think elephants have been in our culture from, I think, the Vedic period. I think you have elephants being used for war in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and we still use them today for, it was used for logging hundreds of years ago. So how did humans, tame such an enormously huge animal with so much intelligence? How did we get to that
Is
position?
it used or misused?
Very valid
That's
point.
key.
Very valid
Very
point.
valid point. Yeah.
It's absolutely wrong because we are seeing elephants as a commodity and placing them or using them in a transactional way without seeing them as individuals like us, which is very bad. Okay, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion thing.
What about you, Ganesh? What do you think?
Yeah, it is terrible. And this word taming itself, you're basically breaking the spirit of an elephant. Elephant, no matter where you keep a temple or a forest, it is still a wild animal. It still has these traits. The animal still has a lot of stress and pressures that it goes through when it is in a environment which is like surrounded by people and things. Many times these stress that they feel is not even visible to us. It's all happening internally. And these things have serious consequences on the animal's physiology as well. And when these acts are done, the tame part of it, it's not something where you say, hey, let's be friends, I'll give you a banana and listen to me. It doesn't work that way, no? You're capturing the animal, you're putting it in a kraal, you're breaking the spirit, you're making it obey to commands, you're making it get used to people's touch, you're making it get used to the sounds that people are going to make. And talking about the history of capturing elephants and getting them into the human use spaces, 1,500 years of this has happened, be it the Kedda methods of pitfall where you later capture the animals and things like that. And it's a very brutal system. And what are we getting out of it?
Yeah.
For a huge bunch of people to feel, I know, when you see, I don't feel that when I see captive elephants. I don't feel that when I see 10, 20 elephants standing beside one another. No sense of what their hierarchy dominances are. One elephant is made to lift its head. In the elephant world, that's dominance. One young subordinate elephant is doing that. The other elephant is getting triggered. There's chaos. 50,000, 100,000 people running around. Crackers going off. Loud drums. And these are things that in the history also, they've done these things. They have war elephants, for example. Imagine putting a very calm docile elephant into a war situation. The animal is going to run. They had all their guards for it, bursting crackers, creating those scenarios. And that's how these elephants were used to break whatever formations and things. So this thing has been there for a long period, but
Yeah, I'm not sure whether elephants have been historically have been part of the cultural activities.
Okay.
Even in temples, for example, that constitutionally it is wrong. It has never been a culture of this one. Maybe that we are talking about a culture of 100 years or 200 years, kind of, but it's not there.
It was not there. It
It
just
was
been
not there.
brought
I mean,
in.
we brought in. Okay, people using elephants in weddings. Yeah, in North India, you will see in some weddings, you will actually see elephants being used.
It's ridiculous.
their size and grandeur is working against them.
In your opinion, this should be stopped completely.
In my opinion, yes. It has to be stopped. And people argue that, what do we do with elephants which are injured, severely injured? Should we rescue them, give them treatment and kind of thing? So that's a different story. Okay, yeah, altogether. But capturing an elephant from the wild and curtailing its freedom and killing its independence and breaking down both physically, psychologically, which is a criminal thing to do. If the same thing is applied to any human being, we will go up in arms, no? So there is nothing greatness in the whole thing. Okay. See, from the beginning, I think I see it in this angle that human beings always wanted to dominate over other species.
You're right.
Yeah, we want to show that we are the supreme.
Yeah.
We have never seen other species are part of the ecosystem where we are. Okay, we are also part of the ecosystem, and they are also part of the ecosystem, and we are playing different roles for the betterment of the ecosystem. Yeah, we never see that way at all. So we never see them as equal to us. Gajasena, for example, the kings were using these all these
Yeah,
elephants
yeah.
in the war. It's just only trying to show their supremacy, over the other king or whatever kind of thing
I've got
during the
hundreds
war.
of elephants versus you've got 50s.
Yeah.
No, but the impact that 100 will do also is quite significant in the war scene.
Yeah, but the whole point is that that either you talk about that period of time or talk about current period of time. In either of those times, what happened or what is happening now is wrong. In simple words. So going back in time, while I was just doing a bit of a study, elephants in India had a much larger range compared to what it is today. They were found in many more states or places compared to now.
So as of now, there are 16 states?
Yeah, around 16 states.
16
I mean,
states.
you also see that Kanam there, and some states, you started seeing elephants. Maharashtra, for example, that they've gone from Karnataka side to Maharashtra side. Yeah, so, but if you look at the historical range, they've gone up to Middle East. Up to Middle East, and the elephants have been there. But slowly they have been wiped out from many landscapes. Because in the name of development, in the name of killing, and conflict, and lots of things.
That's how they
So,
lost the range.
yeah.
And
So
now
elephants were not
habitat
able to
loss.
cope up with the changes. There are maybe some things which I don't know much about that thing. Yeah, but there are many factors that has actually contributed in shrinking of the historical range.
And did the Asian elephant come from Africa? Is that how the origin of the Asian species is?
No. So there are African elephants, Asian elephants evolved differently.
Differently.
Yeah, because that is Loxodont africana. Ours is Elephas maximus.
Is there a particular reason why they migrate from one location to another location?
See, elephants have poor digestive system, no? That's one thing. And they require large ranges. And I know they move from one place to the other place. That has been there for local migrations in terms of in such of food and water and safety. So those things will actually.
And there is a
determine.
seasonality in this migration.
Yeah, in some places. See, what we largely see in India, in many parts, it's a local migrations.
Okay.
So not long distance migrations that you will see. Very rarely that you come across long distance migrations. Like recently it happened in China, but in African countries, the elephants travel long distances in search of water. Yeah,
Yeah.
during dry season. So, but what we see in India, see, 1.4 billion people. Okay, we are having largest human population and largest elephant population.
Mm.
So it's very difficult for elephants to migrate long distances.
Right.
Yeah. But they have to cross so many highways now. The linear intrusion is crazy. And it will become a different chaos altogether. But the home, like the local migration, which is of what kind of range? Like 100 odd kilometers or less than that or more than that?
Yeah. So around 100 odd kilometers. Say recently that Chhattisgarh elephants were seen in
In Bandhavgarh.
Bandhavgarh
Mm.
thing. And because there are several factors influence uh, that movement.
Is it because are they finding new habitats or there are some other reasons why those elephants actually moved from Orissa to, as far as my information goes, Orissa to Bandhavgarh. So is it that they're looking for a new habitats or they are pushed from the current habitats and now they are finding new homes?
See, it's the way that how you look at.
Okay.
Even within the scientific community, they always argue that okay, elephants are expanding their range, but I see it as elephants are being pushed into new areas. So it depends on which angle that you look at. It's a very tough. See, each species has its own behavioral range
Yeah.
within which they survive. Yeah, what happens if it goes beyond that,
Yes.
where the animals can't adapt to the changing conditions? So that's where the problem comes. So what is that behavioral adaptations? The range of behavioral adaptation is something that we have very limited understanding, particularly in large species, large mammals like elephants, which are long-lived species, no, like us. I don't think there are any studies that have actually looked into these things. So what is their behavioral adaptations to the changing conditions?
So in the migration time, they follow the same path.
Region of use.
Yeah.
Sorry?
They may use the region more than the defined single track.
Okay.
Not necessarily the elephant has to walk on the same path every time. It's
Same
the
region.
area that they use.
Area.
There are various factors that could influence it. It could be wild dogs, leopard, people. Anything can deflect an elephant from
Right.
a particular track. But over long periods, you can see them in specific areas in certain months, which we've monitored for over a decade, and they show similar. They still stick to similar patterns of use.
And the same herd, if the matriarch, for example, has died.
I don't know whether
another
your
one-
question can be modified in a way that because elephants behave very differently in anthropogenic habitats where people are there,
Yeah.
and their movement patterns are also determined by kind of obstacles or stress or pressures associated with modified landscapes as compared to natural habitats. So in natural habitats, elephants behave very differently. Yeah. So maybe that they may be taking the similar paths and they may be going in a particular direction. But irrespective of that, what we are actually seeing in Valparai is that the identified herds have actually shown consistent movement patterns in a similar way even after a decade. Because the reason what we are seeing is that landscape hasn't changed much after transforming of natural forest to tea.
They've adapted to this.
So animals also adapted to the conditions there. In Hassan, what we are seeing is that most of the coffee estates, they started putting up solar power fences around coffee. They weren't there before, not many. So now elephants shifted to new areas in Belur. Belur people have never seen elephants in the last 20 years. So it's a tough time for elephants. It's a tough time for people.
People also.
Because they don't know how to
Manage
deal
it.
with elephants thing. Yeah. So the situation demands drastic changes in the way that people adopt to those conditions. That's the reason why that you started seeing lots of people losing lives in Belur and the parts of Sakleshpur, which elephants have never been. Occasional movement is there. So in interaction landscapes, it's extremely important to see in a balanced way both people and elephants. That is how we really need to go ahead.
Right.
Okay, so you both have studied elephants for so long. What things they should observe about elephants when they are close to the elephants, when they should move out?
I think let's frame it this way.
Okay.
What are the 4 or 5 basic signs of an irritated elephant?
Ears flared, tail stiff, constant kicking, vocalizing, moving forward or back, constantly throwing up dust over itself. These are all clear signs that the animal is
Stomach
not
rumbling.
rumbling.
So sometimes.
These are
Even
all
the rumbling.
these are all very
okay.
clear signs the animal is not comfortable. So those are some of the easy tell signs for you to back away. And you can tell the way the animal moves. The head may be bobbing, but this time the head is stiff, and only the head is so stiff, but the body is coming forward. It's quite a sight to see that way.
Okay.
So these are all very clear signs.
Yeah, because you have like n number of videos, of people driving along a forest. The elephant is just there. It's turning that way. These guys, as usual, are getting down, taking pictures, and then 1 second it turns and starts charging.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing, many times I've noticed when elephants are not very comfortable with you, they just turn away. They'll show their backs and stand.
right.
That's their way of avoiding something that stresses them out by
If
visuals.
the animal is
cues.
turned, elephant is turned, showing the back, what you're supposed to do with?
Don't do anything. Just sit quiet. After a while, they'll calm down and they'll turn around. It's about giving them time.
No, I'm just
Yeah. No,
So
that is very true.
It's very difficult to give a prescription.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to people, listening to this and say that, oh, this is how elephants behave, this is how we should behave kind of thing. Because sometimes
No, it's just like a general guidance. If you're there in a place and you have elephants around you,
yeah.
what if one shouldn't do it?
See, generally that elephants try to move away from people, number one. If they don't move away, which means that those elephants may have got a little bit of experience in interacting with people. Okay. So they give you different kinds of signs, as Ganesh has indicated. No, they stretch their ears and stand still. They won't make much noise. It varies. So if you are very close, or if you're trying to disturb, if you're trying to talk, or trying to take pictures, and elephants show different kinds of behaviors like kicking the mud and throwing mud on themselves rigorously. So normal positions also they will throw mud. But rigorously if the animal is throwing, which means that it is irritated.
Stressed out.
Sometimes you will actually see that before charging, the tail will be lifted up, little bit twisted,
Trunk curled.
and when they're actually charging is the last resort that
Right.
animal does.
Right.
Then tail will be lifted up and the trumpet will follow. Trumpeting and come. So most of the charges are mock charge.
Okay.
If the people, most of the accidents that happen because people are within the mock charge distance from an animal. So that distance vary from place to place. So in my study, in my PhD study, what I looked at, given that there are elephants and people working in tea estates in Valparai, what is the best distance people have to maintain? No disturbance, but people will be working in tea fields, elephants will be there. So 50 meters is the threshold distance.
Okay.
And 100 meters is safe distance. Okay. So for a manager there in tea estates, he has a limited power. So he can only instruct how many people should be there, how much distance they have to maintain from elephants, so that elephants will not become aggressive. They spend most of their time in their daily routine, normal behavioral activities thing. So that's what I looked at. So if I try to ask a person in my PhD, then people will say, oh, we don't want elephants. So that may be because of the fear factor thing. I try to observe elephants, how they react when people are at different distances and different numbers. Okay. In a natural setting. So I quietly observe people. So this is what it came up. So surprisingly, in Africa, there was a very similar study in Kruger National Park. There also that people have come up with 50 meters
Oh, okay.
is a threshold distance, and more than 50 is a safe distance. Which is, I don't know. So I was really happy to see that, whether you don't see much difference.
So very briefly, can you share what was the problem in Valparai and how did you guys solve it?
You only start.
Okay, I'll start.
Go for it.
Please start.
So the work in Valparai began sometime around 2002, if I'm right. And we had two primary issues. One was loss of human lives. The other one was damage to property. And yeah, that's where Anand's studies came in. But only after regularly, systematically monitoring it did we gain more insight into how the elephants...
This was in which year? Initial study?
From 2002 onwards.
2002.
So And that's when he recognized which are the individuals or groups or herds that are using the landscape, how they're using it, what is the seasonality, why are people losing their lives, what was the primary thing that is leading to these instances where people and elephants were, interacting in and leading to loss of human lives. What is it? Common sense maybe, but data spoke. It showed that most people encountered elephants because they didn't know where these elephants are. It was not like people were seeking to go find elephants, neither were elephants looking to kill people. It was unfortunate that they both ended up in the same place at the same time. And in a place like Valparai, it's vast expanse of tea. So visibility is there. But the thing is, these roads are also very winding. Both people and elephants use the same tracks, mud tracks. And you could bump into an elephant across a corner and you may not know it is standing there. And when elephants sense people approaching or anything else approaching, they tend to freeze. So they also stay quiet. They're trying to listen to sounds, feel the vibrations under their feet. So at that point of time, the elephant is already aware that something is approaching. It does not know who or what, but the person goes around and the distance is too close. And either the elephant and the person will run opposite directions, or there'll be a situation where the person can't get away that easily.
What were the numbers in terms of deaths way back in 2002?
See, about an average 3 people were losing lives.
In a year?
It's a small space, 200 square kilometers, 70,
See,
80,000 people.
it's not the number that is important, but if a person dies, the entire family is ruined. Yeah. Entire village develop negative attitude. People have to live in fear, trauma. That is more important. Okay. People only talk about numbers. Numbers don't tell you much. If I have to be, stick to my house after 6 o'clock in the evening, which is a torturing thing for me. Yeah. Because I can't attend any function because interpersonal relationships are, very are dependent on how well that you attend certain function thing. Yeah. Or attending some emergencies, health emergencies. These things play an important role. Yeah. If people have to come to Valparai town to pick up ration, if people have no idea that elephants are there, which is traumatic. I don't know where I encounter elephants. So that's where the people lost their lives.
So what did you guys
So this was the scenario way back in 2002 when people were living with fear. In
Yeah,
fear.
there were very, very serious concerns about that. And when we presented the results to plantation management, because we had no idea about solutions, we had no idea about conflict mitigation measures. That was not there in our mind at all. We thought that we will understand elephants in terms of their movement, which are the critical habitats within these fragmented landscapes and stuff. How many elephants are using this landscape thing, and what kind of damages, conflict that exists. That was the idea. That's all. When we presented these results, and one of the estate managers, actually, Mr. Hegde of Hindustan Lever Limited, he's a manager. He knows what's actually going on in his company. He told us, hey, in our estate, lots of people use Valparai television channel.
Okay.
Why don't you make use of that?
Hmm.
So this is where what we strongly believe is that it's not the solution that is given by us. It is a solution given by people themselves,
community
stakeholders.
itself? Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference. Yeah, because he knows what is required for their own people, his own people. Yeah, people working for that particular company. So that's how we started off this. So from 2004 onwards, we started off this Valparai television channel. That was the first thing. And when deaths came down and it remained zero for nearly 2.5 years, that's where we got the confidence
It's
that
working.
these
system.
things would work
Mm.
if we are able to communicate to people about elephant locations.
First was the
Valparai television.
Valparai television channel. So we used
Sec-
the cable.
Then from 2010, Anand and Satish worked on the early warning lights. This is a concept that he picked
you
up.
also had a bulk SMS.
That came in much later. Around
Oh, that
2011
came
is when that
later.
came.
Oh.
So the concept that I'm talking about, the alert beacons,
Huh.
was a concept that Anand and Satish worked on with a local company in Coimbatore
Okay.
out of a small room. I don't know
Okay.
how many months they've spent trying to figure this out.
2 years.
There you
Okay.
go. And yeah, so
Mm.
the kind of efforts that went in the concept in building whatever technology, keeping the costs in mind, keeping it as a facility for people to use, at the same time make sure that people are also able to be a part of this. It's not about somebody just providing something from one direction. It's a community. You're working with a whole bunch of people from various walks of life, knowledge and things. How best can it be integrated into a system that they can adapt or adopt to
So I think
quite easily?
so somebody who spots the elephant can call up and switch on the light, right? It's
It's basically the concept of having something that grabs attention as an indicator that there's some kind of thing around here which you need to take precaution for. And that idea, again, like he said, came from the earlier one was from a manager. This one was from a estate watchman who was shining his torch to indicate to somebody else that there are elephants on the path that that person was taking. So it's ideas like this, working on it, trying to build on some things. And around 2011 is when the lights also got finalized. So that was a time where I also joined. Bulk messages, alert lights, installations, and various other things started around that period of time.
From that time till date, there are no damages.
There are. There are. I mean, people lost their lives, but it has come down drastically. So there are some years zero, and but when it happened one.
But the major part is that people behavior towards elephant changed.
Yeah.
Can I
so
say so?
basically, that fear of unknown is taken away. Fear of known still is there. Basically, if these are the facilities, we're not done anything great. Okay, these are the small facilities that where people can understand. So today everybody is messaging with each other, kind of thing. So that is the one that was taken out. And whether it is a text message alerts or voice call alerts or lights, you choose what is convenient for you. We don't force you, but these are the facilities available. Yeah. People have chosen whatever best they want. But thanks to people that they have responded positively to these systems. It's not that a person receives a message, alert message, ignoring that. Okay, I'm born and brought up here. I know how to deal with elephants. I can go wherever I want, whenever I want, kind of thing. That's not there. Okay, that's still people have responded positively, for which we are very, very thankful to people and companies. Okay, the plantation companies played a huge role in the entire thing, and the forest department has actually played a very proactive role.
So these things which you implement in Valparai, and people were very, very open to these things because it came from them. They could understand the value of these. And you have tried to implement these things in your other place, such as Hassan.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah. So that's a good question, and which is very challenging thing. Okay. Yeah. So yes and no. My answer is yes and no. Because we shifted. See, if you look at across India, there are three major challenging landscapes that you will actually see wherever people and elephants are interacting. One is that the fragmented landscapes thing, what you see. Yeah. So there are, Valparai represents some parts of Western Ghats and Northeast India. And Hassan is a coffee dominated landscape, which represents certain parts, which is another critical kind of thing.
With paddy in it.
With paddy. So paddy in it. Okay. And there is a hard edge boundaries. One side forest and the other side croplands.
That is found in which area?
In Coimbatore,
Coimbatore.
MM Hills, and many places. Bannerghatta, for example, here. Yeah. Many places that you will see. So obviously that as a small organization that we will not be able to work in every landscape, but we want to work in challenging but model landscapes. Okay. That would represent most part of India, wherever elephants and people are interacting. So when we heard that in 2013 and 14, 22 elephants were captured and 17 were taken into captivity, 5 were released in MM Hills, whatever kind of thing. So that was a time that we thought that why can't we work in Hassan? So it was a very conscious decision to expand our work to Hassan. That's how it started. But the main difference between Valparai and Hassan is that Valparai, if you see the land use, landscape is owned by 6 major companies, national, multinational companies. Yeah, it's more or less the top-down approach kind of thing. Here, Every bit of land is owned by somebody or the other. So there are individual owners, they are company owned lands. It makes a huge difference thing. So we started off in Hassan, we started off with 80 villages. That's where most of the friction and people losing lives and a lot of crop damage that's happening there. Now we are monitoring 460 villages. So from 200 square kilometers to 1,110 square kilometers. So
So the outreach must be very hard, right? If you're going from
outreach
village.
very hard, and but think this way: the Valparai, which has about 120 to 140 elephants in a year, that you will see, and 70,000 people, completely packed in 200 square kilometers. Now people have to go for work. In Hassan, so people have to go for work everywhere. It's the same thing. Yeah. But when something like this positive result can be obtained in Valparai, why can't we obtain in Hassan? Okay, that is the challenge. But it took, in order to see the positive relationship in a way, in Valparai, it took near 19 years. So, why should people trust you? No, because we may be doing scientific research and whatever kind of thing, but we really need to earn the people trust, their confidence. Once, first time when we went to Hassan in villages, we were interacting with the villages. ನಿಮ್ಮಂಥವರೆಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಬಂದು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. We have
Lot of
seen
people
lots
have
of
come,
people,
yeah.
lot of people have come and gone. Why should we trust? So we said that, see, we are going to have a field station in Kanchamana Hoskote, and you observe us. So here we come with a target, okay, a goal, because this is a challenging landscape, and whether our scientific research can actually help in addressing the issue. Okay, we are coming to your lands. We need your permission. Okay, we need your cooperation thing. So you are actually allowing people to examine you, no? Then how sincerely, Vinod, who has spent really good amount of time there, he has brought a lot of changes in those villages, 80 to 100, 120 villages. Even now, people still feel that, oh, wow, we need to have a person like Vinod. Okay. Because he made such a big difference there. Yeah, because people examined him. Every day he's going out to the field, watching elephants, informing people, and listening to people. See, people are not bad. So people are extremely good. Only thing is that emotions and their own livelihoods are threatened, lives are threatened. Then people are getting angry. That is justifiable.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
If you lose life of your loved one, obviously
You'll be
It
angry.
affects the
will be.
entire village. It affects the entire community. It sets
See, think
the
about an
progress
incident where a school-going girl, 10th standard girl, died in front of her house because of elephant. That has actually changed the human-elephant relationships in Hassan quite drastically. Just to give you an example, that when I was studying my degree in Mysore, my roommate Ramesh, okay, he's a planter there. When I went to his house in Hadia village in Hassan, when I got up the next day morning, and all the women in his family, they dressed up and they were carrying puja thing to the field. I asked him, where are you going early in the morning? 6:30, 7 o'clock. ಇಲ್ಲ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. Lakshmi has come. So who is the Lakshmi? I said, no, elephant. So elephant has actually walked through their paddy fields, and these people were going to do puja to footprints. So it is that kind of tolerance, no, or that kind of opinion about elephants. So that makes a huge difference.
That's where the culture comes
Yeah,
into play.
yeah.
Huh.
It's there
So that
imbibed in our culture.
Yes.
How we look at the wildlife.
Yeah.
Also.
See, I always feel that, see, in a scientific community or whatever conservation community, that we should not be sitting in a bubble, because there is much larger society outside. So we really need to take facts into consideration before we think of anything. Okay. Just to give an example, when I was doing my PhD, I received a call, okay, from Ayarpad in Valparai. There's elephants have come and damaged the house. Okay. Went there in 6:30 in the morning. So I asked that owner of that house, the lady, okay, What happened? She started explaining this. And around 3 o'clock in the morning, they heard a sound in their bedroom, and they turned on the light and they saw an elephant calf in their bedroom, which is quite scary.
Yeah.
Okay. She and her husband picked up their two children and ran towards the back door, because in Valparai, all houses has front and back doors. Yeah. So because of this, the elephant calf got agitated and made sounds. The mother who was standing outside just pulled down the entire wall to get the calf out. So when I spoke to that woman, what she said that, see how I was actually trying to safeguard my children. The mother elephant was also trying to save its calf. So she didn't complain about elephant. The way which she looked at the entire thing is that, hey, everybody was trying to safeguard their own children. So that is where we see that there's a lot of hope. We can actually bring positive relationships between them.
And it also
I have to ask, because I'm sure you get strangest possible calls, SOS calls.
yeah, sometimes I do. On the TV channel,
Hmm.
the helpline number is Anand's.
Oh, okay. Is it with Anna? Is with you?
That phone is still with Anand, thankfully.
Hmm.
But somehow people have my number as well.
Huh.
So I get calls saying, why are you playing movie songs? Why don't you play devotional songs on TV? They think I'm the TV operator. And then I get calls about snakes. Elephant calls though are always there, informing or asking for help or any of those things. Strange calls. Yeah, I'm not able to think of anything immediately, but I also think I am getting reminded of Durai. He's an electrician from one of the estates. His daughter was recently married, and he calls, my son-in-law is on his way. First time he's coming home after the wedding. I've already reached home, but now I see a message that there's an elephant along the way. Is the herd still there? Is it safe for the guy? And it so happened that guy was just about to get into stress when the Dorai called me. I was like, yeah, the elephant is very much on. He immediately turned and went round. Feast next day. Like, my son-in-law would have got caught with elephants. You must come home. You must eat with us. People are amazing that way.
So the kind of confidence people have in him, and at least the kind of bonding that he has developed, which is remarkable. Okay, but I don't think that I will be able to do that. Okay. Yeah. So it's what I'm trying to say is that it is the relationship. Okay, people are in need of some help. We really need to attend to them. That makes a huge difference. If we want to change the negative interactions towards positive interactions, then we definitely need to have an open mind and trust in people. So that's what you get. Just to give another story, okay, not story, a real incident that happened there. So in Hassan, when Vinod was working there, and I went to Hassan, and Vinod received a call saying that there's a paddy, okay, there's an elephant damaging. So we went to that guy's house. He started blasting us. Okay. Continuously for about 1.5 hours. We just listening. We were just listening. And after 1.5 hours, he told me, sir, why am I blasting at you? You people have come here and you're trying your level best to help us. Okay. Trying to figure it out how best we can address this issue thing. And he invited us for lunch. The fellow who lost paddy is trying to feed us. So in about 2 to 2.5 hours time, I could actually see the drastic shift from complete heightened anger to
Understanding.
completely. So this is where I see that there is still. So he says that, you see, nobody is there to listen to us. The pain, what we go through it. This is where they need psychological support and also other kinds of support. No?
When you're in a landscape where people are, it's not about Ganesh or Vinod. It's about somebody showing up in times of need, good or bad. The forest department presence in Valparai has been improving with time, and it's really good now. The reason why they're trying to reach out is not just me. Because our networks are so poor, our housing colonies are such that 6 families live under one roof with walls separating them. The entire colony will try to reach out to multiple people. the forest department field staff who are allotted to that area, my number, a whole bunch of those. It's combinations. Everybody's trying, whoever you get to get the message across. So it's not about the individual here. It's about where we are at that point of time. Have we contributed to their lives in some form or the other, positive or negative? But because of familiarity, because of consistently engaging with them for over a decade, these are not things that just happen in a day or two. It's a network that is created, it's taken over a decade. And also, this has resulted in certain change in policies or management of elephants in certain areas, like how Anand was mentioning about elephants in an estate. The earlier practice was to chase them. It was
Correct.
literally like playing football with them. I don't want them in my area. Let them cross the boundary, let them do whatever they want in the other person's land. If each individual thinks like this and keeps chasing elephants, it has resulted in multiple deaths also, unplanned drives and things. So constantly engaging with them, and like he said, it's not just we are getting this information, keeping it to us, it's about sharing that knowledge with one another. That gives better understanding. We were able to slowly see the difference in management policies. Now, if elephants are there, that space is for elephants. People are going to work elsewhere. So because people's safety is extremely important. So these things take time to fall in place. And like the efforts that we know now has put is phenomenal.
Yeah, in the Indian landscape, I think this is this community gaining the trust of communities. I think with other guests also we have seen that
it's
that's
a
one of the
reality.
crucial
You
parts of
can't.
conservation.
You cannot do a conservation without involving the local communities. And as you said, 19 years in Valparai, or for whatever 10, 15 years you have been working in Hassan. One thing which is very clear, that you cannot do a parachute style conservation. Just jump in, do something and what doesn't work. It is a very long-term effort. Then only you see the actual outcome.
Long-term engagement.
Engagement, yeah.
See, it's like I'm coming to your house and telling that you have a problem. I have a solution, you take. Why would you take? Yeah. So it's that. So nobody called us. None of the Valparai people or Hassan people called us to work there. But when we go there, it is our primary responsibility to earn the trust of people and be transparent. Today I talk against captures. Okay, in Hassan that happens there with the people. Okay, I show that how captures are actually resulting in and how it has not helped in reducing the conflict. People agree to that. Okay, people agree to the findings. Okay. They may still ask for captures. It's fine. Okay, it is their thing. How I am trying to say the research findings, but nobody says that okay, what you are doing is wrong.
But the pressure is also so heavy on them.
I mean, every landscape is different. The intensity of problem is different. Has to be tackled very, very differently. Everything is different. So the one solution doesn't fit.
No, that will not work.
It can't work. There's one question which came to my mind, and this normally happens, that just because one elephant has behaved differently, we start calling that elephant as a rogue elephant or as a problem elephant. And it just, he's like
labeled, yeah.
Labeled like that.
Yeah.
One time rogue elephant, does it mean that he's going to be rogue for the life?
The sad part is this labeling of rogue is done by somebody sitting in a city writing an article headline. Person has no knowledge about it, most likely, because they're using such words. And if you look at elephants, I don't think we can characterize one elephant or give it one characteristic for all its life. We've had multiple experiences with different herds and individuals, of which one sticks out for me. By the time I joined the herd was quite a popular one in Valparai, and it's been studying them for a while, and everybody recognized them by the number of elephants. This herd has suffered a lot of trauma. They were really scared of fire. When people realized that, everybody in the landscape did it. In a span of a year or two, they got used to it. And now if you light a fire, they'll stand and charge towards it and stand. This is how elephants are also adapting. So in this process, when people are seeing them as villains, giving these shades of characters to them, one individual got singled out because of its name or something. But what I experienced from the time that I saw when the elephant was in its prime to the last stages of its life was a phenomenal transformation. This elephant was involved in damaging buildings. There have been numerous instances where it has charged at people and things. Nobody knows the context, how and when and why. Nobody seems to care about it except for the charge that happens or the damage that happens. That's a final product. But because I had the privilege of seeing it for such long periods, there was a massive change in its behavior. The animal was no longer getting involved in damaging property. It would come quietly feed on the jackfruit around housing colonies. But what I saw was the people who were once scared of the elephant were totally accepting of it. They're like, oh, this elephant will come, we'll eat and go. We're not worried about it. So to see that entire shift in the population's attitude towards the individual, and finally when the individual died, I saw so many people applying leaves who they, from different estates. They wanted to pay their respects to this individual. So many people were crying. Some of them were offering flowers and things. So this elephant has had an impact on so many people's lives that I didn't know. Wherever we go, we meet people in clusters, we speak, chat with them. But to see each individual put that effort because they all have that connect with that individual is quite something. That elephant has left a mark in people's minds. So if only many elephants had this opportunity also to be allowed to spend its life in the wild, I don't think we should be categorizing these individuals as rogues or killers and
Quick,
marauders. And things.
quick question into that. So, in a landscape where elephant that is loved or people know about this elephant, you say they actually put leave and they go to the funeral. What happens when an elephant dies in a landscape like that?
Usually when the elephant dies, the forest department is the one who organizes everything. They bring the forest veterinary doctor, a post-mortem is conducted, the tushes are removed, they're serial numbered, they're segregated separately. We take measurements of the individual, and you generally conduct a post-mortem to see what the internal organ situations are. Some of them you'll find mud, some situations, some other health issue complications.
Is the elephant buried there in the landscape, or is it?
It depends from place to place. There are some places where poisoning is an issue. So in such places, they don't leave the carcasses out. If it is a wild space without people around, then the carcass is left for the wildlife to feed on it. It depends where these things are, how close it is to people's habitation. Because when an elephant dies, this decomposition, the smell, it's going to cause a lot of discomfort to people, and also it's going to attract a lot of the life that is sustaining on these forests.
Leopards
There's nothing goes waste in the forest, right? So right from leopards, pigs, mongoose, birds, everything survives on these. So yeah, it's like that.
I'll add one more question. There's a recent study which was done in which it was mentioned about the calf burial done by the elephants.
I've experienced calf deaths, but I've not seen burial.
Not seen burial.
I've seen elephants standing around a dead elephants, mourning it. I've seen such things. It's amazing. They go so quiet. They stand around it. They're constantly lifting their trunk. They're smelling. The trunk is placed over the head. Again, it's dropped. I've seen them do it in synchrony. It's in synchronized. One lifts, all of them lift. One drops, all of them drops. It's amazing. It's very rare to see these things. And I've also seen calves that have died. The different herds have functioned differently. I have seen from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. The elephant did not leave the calf. The calf was in its last stages, but only when it gave up did it move away. And that's after which we could step in. We tried a lot of things. The forest department begged everybody. But the elephant seemed to know that the calf wouldn't make it. They seem to know these things.
Okay, so coming back to tech. So we are now in a tech world. So what new technologies which are coming in, either in India, outside India, which is helping in having these interactions more peaceful?
Yeah. So in my view, technology is only a tool. Okay. If you need a spanner, if you try to use cutting plier, it's not going to work. I think there are n number of technologies. There is no end to it. Ultimately, who has to respond to this technology? It is the people. If people don't have any clue about the technology, that's going to fail. So there are n number of technology. What you see nowadays, people are using thermal cameras, sensor cameras. Then, of course, different kinds of barriers, starting from elephant-proof trenches to solar power fences to railway barricades to steel wires and hanging fence and all kinds of things. Okay, all of them miserably failed. Yeah, it's just because the reason is that we trying to address the issue, from keeping the solution in the first place, trying to fix the problem. It should be the other way. We need to understand the problem and find the right
solution for that.
That is what lacking. See, in any given landscape, interactions between people and elephants have been happening for decades. But we don't have 3 years of time to look at the problem, study the problem scientifically.
Yeah.
Scientifically in the sense objectively.
Yes.
Okay, without any personal biases.
Yeah.
So that if you try to understand that, of course, Science plays an important role, but it's not the only solution thing,
Yeah.
because in the entire gamut of conservation, science is a very small part, but it plays a very critical role. So that we really need to look at. It's not the technology that is important, but how, which one to use, where, something we fail to do that. See, look at the entire India or even Southeast Asia also. We have today, if I want to see that which landscape has actually shown a positive result, a modern landscape. If I want to see that, okay, lots of suggestions are coming. If I have to go to some place and okay, this is the place where suggestions have been implemented, executed really well, results are obtained positively. We don't have.
That's the sad part of it.
Despite 30-35 years of research that has been carried out in India on elephants, we don't have modern landscapes where scientific community with their suggestions have actually come up with model landscapes.
But I think they've had their cell phone monitoring, warning system and light monitoring system has been implemented in other places also, right?
Yeah.
Which countries?
See, in China it was implemented, and even Malaysia it is implemented. Across in India, different states, but different modifications. So the concept is the same: communicating to people through mobile phone technology, kind of thing. That's done. Okay.
And has been successful in these areas.
See, it has varying things. So as I said, that it's not that I wish we have a single solution for all landscapes. See, basically, I see it this way: what people want, what government does, what scientific community suggests. It should be based on people and elephant needs. If there is a mismatch, then it's not going to work.
I'm now coming to the end of our discussion. We know that we have to coexist with the wildlife around us, which includes elephant. What do you think can be done so that people and the wildlife both are protected, both are important, both are protected? How can we create that cohesive environment that, yes, if not 100% to a level of 50%, 30%, 40%, whatever the percentage is, that there is some kind of viability is there in this whole solution? And I would love to get a response from both of you.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know whether I will be able to answer this, respond to your point correctly, fully. See, coexistence does not mean that, hey, bye kind of thing. Okay. There will be some kind of frictions. There will be some kind of conflicts that happens there. As long as it's something to do with attitude, So coexistence cannot be seen as a forcible action, but it is a desirable option.
Nice. I really like a desirable option.
That's how, if we start seeing that way, then we will try to find out which are the avenues that are more conducive for co-living. Okay. So in countries like India, for example, there are hundreds of elephants, thousands of people interacting with each other every day. We can't have exclusive zones. People are talking about, people will be somewhere, elephants should be somewhere, kind of thing. Yeah. So this zonation business is not going to work because we don't have that kind of luxury. So it's all westernized concepts. We should actually debunk those things. And what is more important is that what is the best available option? It should be based on informed decisions. That's going to work. See, it's not that we don't have people. So we have plenty of people. Okay. Government officers are working, forest department officials are working sincerely, because this is a serious issue. Okay. Yeah. So if somebody is threatened, somebody's life and livelihoods are threatened, the people will go to the government. So in such situations, people do work towards for the betterment of people and wildlife. Okay. But the mismatch is actually leading to all kinds of problems. So we really need to work collectively. So that's what resulted in positive outcome in Valparai.
I think there's a lot of bias that we all have. Where animals should be, what they should eat, how they should walk, where should they scratch themselves. Everything we have a concept in our head and we expect them to follow it according to our needs. Why will they listen to us? I don't know. But there is an expectation from the humans on that aspect. And that can only be kind of dealt with better knowledge and information. But for the rate at which solid information, knowledge about elephants is coming out is so little compared to the kind of negative things that is spread more. So the overall view of an individual is very biased in that sense of what they're consuming. And this will also have in their timelines, in their 20s, the way I saw elephants is different when I see them in 30s. In my 40s, I'll see them different. So it's a gradual process. But I can't speak about this because in great depth because I am not the farmer. I am not the person losing my entirety of my little piece of land where I've taken high rates of interest loans and I'm not able to repay back. Those pressures are very serious. And I totally agree with the farmer if he does not want to see an elephant in his life ever. I totally get it. It's fair. That person has the right to live. But at the same time, our policies, our designs, our strategies, everybody from different aspects of the country's experts, who is giving their opinions, they're all coming from a place of experience and understanding in the way they see it. But we all spoke about how unique places are, how unique people's behavior is in each of these places, and elephants are also adapting to these things. It's a scary thing in the future. At the rate at which things are going, I hope there is positivity, but in reality, this is a challenge that is going to be a serious concern.
Yeah, so the point here is, Ganesh, that we know this is a challenge.
Yeah.
The only way forward is that how we live with the wildlife. And I think the positive part here is our culture. Okay. So I understand the point what you're saying, that somebody who was losing the whole crop because of elephant has raided and finished it off will be under mega amount of distress. There's no dispute about it. But you only gave me an example some time ago. The same person who was shouting for 2 hours is the same person who's saying that, why don't you sit down and have a meal with me?
Yeah.
That is what is India.
Yeah. That
is where we are different. And that is where is the hope.
Like how Anand said, we have 1.4
Don't you think
billion
so?
people.
That is where is the hope.
So many elephants around. We still have elephants.
Yes.
There is hope.
100%. I'm very positive about it. Because that's imbibed in our culture. So I'm very positive about it. It's just that we have to work, we have to figure it out at how we work in that collaborative fashion. Either do with the researcher, scientist, department, people, other non-profit organizations who are working with the local communities. If we all come together, I'm sure we can have a better future for people and for the wildlife. Thank you, Ganesh, and thank you, Anand, for spending these couple of hours discussing elephants, and elephants.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for us.